The set today is with a wetsuit in a 25-meter pool. Even Sebastian Kienle should be able to swim fast that way. Yeah, Daytona prep. I think there's an 80% chance that it's gonna be a wetsuit swim, so time to spend some time in the suit. Really love the Predator. That's definitely a big step forward for me this year. Especially for my hips, it's pretty stable. Love that feeling. So the set is just 200 warm up, and then it's always 50 hard, short break, 100 race pace, maybe a little bit faster, longer break, and then 50, 100, 50, 100, 50, 100 until we have that 1.5K, and then it's some easy stuff without the wetsuit, and it's gonna be a pretty short swim. And then later on, another short and tough session. My first race, my first Swift race this year, or probably my first real Swift race at all. So plenty of pain and lactate acid today. A good day.
Daytona, does it feel like Kona? It actually does a little bit feel like Kona. The only nice thing is now it's a really high carb diet. That's a little bit of a difference compared to Kona. And it's probably a little bit more gentle weather in Florida at this time of the year, for the big engines at least. But other than that, I mean, it's probably even a stronger field than what you face in Kona. At least in Kona, I always knew I had a chance to win the race. This time in Daytona, it's pretty difficult. I would say it's less than 5% chance that I win in Daytona. So it's a pretty stacked field, and it definitely deserves the label World Championship this year. Last days, I had to say, I woke up and go for an easy jog in the morning before breakfast, and it was like 6-7 degrees Celsius, foggy. It felt more like off-season and cookie time and football on the couch time. And a couple of long drinks instead of long swims. And yes, it's definitely good that I have this extra motivation and a little bit of fear mixed in when I race against these short course speedsters. So, and I think what it really helped this year is like to keep up the good work I've done over pretty much the whole year, because it will pay off probably 2021, and then it's not Daytona but Kona. So therefore it definitely helped to like go hard, finish the year strong, at least finish the year tired, and that's also something really important for me, to have the feeling I've deserved a break, and so far that wasn't the case. Obviously it's quite a difficult situation, not only from a training standpoint, because we are back into whatever they call it, lockdown light or whatever in Germany. So, but I'm fortunate enough to still be able to have access to the pool. Most professional athletes in Germany have, and that's a good thing. That's the most important thing for me. Otherwise, I would not even consider racing Daytona, because swimming is probably the most important piece of the puzzle right now. Other than that, the biggest task for sure is traveling. I mean, when this video is getting released, I hope I have this confirmation number that I will be able to travel to the United States. That's really my biggest concern right now, to even be able to travel there. I hope I get that. A couple of other German athletes and European athletes already are made the trip to the US, so I'm confident that this is going to happen. The next step is, there's still a slight chance that the race is probably not taking place. So it's a lot of uncertainty, and that's a pretty difficult task mentally, because the whole year, you know, like you train for a race and then 4 weeks later it gets cancelled, or the race gets cancelled just like 5-6 days prior to the race. It's obviously it's pretty difficult, but it's all relative. I mean, compared to a lot of people, my problems are probably not real problems. I just fool myself from time to time. I just tell myself Daytona is definitely gonna happen. I'm gonna travel there and I'm gonna have a shot at winning the race. And then if it gets cancelled 1 week prior to the race, or if I'm not able to travel there, well, at least I had another 6-7 weeks of like really good quality training, and that will help me ultimately next year. So yeah, it's just like in everyday training, you know, like you always tell yourself, last one, last one, last one, last session of the day, last session of this block, last session of the month, of the week, whatever you want to use. But then there's always next session and the next block and so on. So it always continues. Like they say, it never gets easy. You just get faster eventually. Some of this, some Swift races for me in the next 3 weeks. I've not done any Swift racing this year, and I had to say I didn't, you know, like want to kill myself somewhere in mid-June. Just in some esport competition, but now it is time to kill myself. And then there's some quite intense track sessions. Luckily, I have a couple of people that are still allowed to train with me. That's good. And then, yeah, I basically stay here most of the time. I have Mondays and Fridays at Heidelberg in the Olympic Center there, which is good training conditions. And other than that, most of the time I'm on the trainer doing some pretty intense stuff and some cyclocross, easy rides in the forest, just like to clear your mind a little bit and still spend some time outside. Well, I mean, I can probably take something positive out of it. I mean, the time I had, you know, to like really work on basics, and that's probably every athlete is gonna tell you that, is it's really interesting that you usually always have like the next race, and then you have to taper for this race, then you have to recover from it again, and so on. So you always train for the next race, And even if you have a big race coming up, and I'm definitely one of the guys, I want to be good at every race. Doesn't matter if it's in February, in March, whatever, or if it's Kona. So when I have my next race, I think about the next race and not about like the bigger picture. I have a coach for that, which is good. But with the lack of racing, you can focus way more like on specific things. And for me, obviously, it was definitely getting more resistant, being able to run like 80 Ks a week, doing like 3-4 fast sessions a week, which is absolutely great for me. I haven't been able to do this for almost like 3-4 years. And then obviously swimming is the most important, has been the most important part for me this year. Unfortunately, with the crash I suffered in St. Moritz, that put a pretty big halt on that, which yeah, was really devastating. But I'm back at it, and it feels like really good. I think I'm on the right track there, and yeah, I've definitely seen some personal bests in the pool in the last couple of weeks, and that's quite encouraging for the next couple of weeks, but even more for 2021.